Hey guys! Thank you so much for tuning in to our Motivational Monday message. Those of you who are consistently taking advantage of these, you are the ones who are making things happen and succeeding in your business and just helping you and your family out with this opportunity. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. My mouth is dry, so hang on one second. I've been going a little over on time these past couple hangouts, and so I want to be respectful to you all and to that time. And so I want to make sure that we are finishing in 30 minutes because my goal is that these are going to be quick and simple messages for you all. So thank you for being patient with me as I kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work, and kind of make those changes as needed. And so my goal tonight is to strictly be 30 minutes in and out, okay? And so tonight what I'm going to be talking about with you all is making sure you're working with your business full circle and kind of what that looks like. And so tonight I'm going to give you all of the elements of full circle work, and I want you to really reflect on them and think about them. And we're only going to touch on one of those elements tonight. Then as we continue in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be touching on each individual element in the full circle work for your business. So that way you can figure out where your strengths lie, what you might need more support in, and then I will better be able to help you in those areas. And there are some areas in there where I still feel like I am more weak in and am working on as well too. So I'll definitely share that with you as well as we go. So before we get started though, I want to make sure that I am going over some notes here. And so I do want to talk about the preferred customer program. Today, I kind of dropped the ball a little bit because in the holidays, there's so many different lookbooks coming out that I forgot to mention until recently that today is the last day for that. You should have gotten reminder emails about the preferred customer program if you're checking your emails from Mary Kay, but I wanted to make sure I was doing my job and letting you kind of know what that is and how to do it and all of that real quick. So preferred customer program is something super, super, super smart to enroll your customers in. And what that system does is it individually mails out a lookbook, the most current one, with all the new products in it and everything. Sorry, my cats are going crazy. All of the new products and everything in it, and it even includes a sample in that lookbook for them. And then on the back, where there's like that white spot space or whatever, where you would put your address label and the customer address on there, is a little note, and it's made like it's from you. And so it's really customized for each individual customer. It's sent out through Mary Kay, and then it only costs you about 70 cents a person to send out that lookbook. Now, when I first started, I sent out a couple to my highest paying customers. And I also include one for myself just so that way I have a lookbook, and I kind of wanted to see how it looked and what all went into that. So I entered myself as if I was a customer and got myself one sent to me. Now you're going to get another one sent to you directly every time you enroll your customers through the preferred customer program. But why not send yourself another one and have two? And so it's a lot cheaper to do it this way. If someone wants a book or is asking for a book, or you want to mail out books to people, it's a lot cheaper to do it this way than it is to address the book yourself and send it out to people that you want to send them out to. Now, here's the thing. Do not go out and send out books to every single customer that you have. You're going to spend way too much money and, to be honest, might not see the results that you want from that. So here's what I do. You can do this the way that I do it. You can change it however you want, but I just want to let you know what I do. So when I get my customers and I'm figuring out who I'm going to enroll in the most current customer program, I look and see what their sales were. And I send that out to every customer that, hold on, Sabian, Psst, psst, Sabian. He likes to bother my other cat. She's growling at him. If you hear that, I'm sorry, but he's not leaving her alone, and I don't want to get up and go bother them. So anyway, I do it $100 or more. So if they spent at least $100 with me, now if it's like $98 or $95 or whatever, I include that. But when they spend $100 or more with me, they are considered my preferred customer and they get a lookbook sent to them. Now, I've got like 500 customers in my system. I do not go back to like my very first month in the business and send a customer a lookbook unless they've reordered. So what I usually do is send two customer lookbooks to that customer before I take them off my preferred list. So if I sent them 2 books and they haven't responded or reordered from those 2 books, then they don't get a 3rd one. So my most recent customers, if they've spent $100 or more, they all get a lookbook from me. And then I go back through my system and I see who I've given previous ones to and see if I need to give them another one or stop them completely from getting the preferred customer program lookbook or whatever. So that's how I do it. Some directors that I've talked to do it for like $75 or more. Some do it where all of their customers who purchase something get a lookbook initially, and then after that they take them off the list. So it really just depends on what you feel comfortable with. If you have a smaller customer base and you're trying to build that reorder business, this preferred customer program opportunity would be your best bet to send them one this time because it's the holiday lookbook. So as people are doing their shopping and everything, it gives you an excuse to put your products in front of them again and follow up with them. So whenever they receive that lookbook back from me, I always make sure, and you'll get a reminder in your email from Mary Kay that lets you know that those books have been sent. And then there's a follow-up script that I will post for that. But then you would follow up with them and say something like, be sure to be looking for that book, or you should have received that lookbook. Is there any questions? Did you want anything, any samples? I can stop by and show you all of our new items, blah, blah, blah. So it gives you an excuse to follow up with old customers. It gives them an excuse to see those products again and feature the new ones. And then it also helps you with putting yourself on that list of ordering the products first before any other consultant can order them. And I didn't check my email, or I didn't check my mail today, but I believe my new Buzz kit just got here, and it's got the newest products that are coming in for the winter time. So this season is kind of crazy. We had the fall line, which was the Project Runway, the facial peel, all of that. Then we just had our holiday line, which was the Be Delighted, the new satin hands, and everything in there. But then there's another group of goodies that are coming in, and I've been waiting for them. Like, these are going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And I get to play with them first. And I'm not allowed to show you at all until they're released. But I'm super excited because then I get to, that's the perks of being a director. You get to play with all the stuff first. But then if you have enrolled even just one person, so if you're like, I'm brand new, I don't really have any customers right now, at least enroll yourself, because then you'll be able to get to reorder or order the new products first before anybody else can. So super, super awesome program that we have. You go under, I believe it is Business Tools, and then there'll be a link for Preferred Customer Program. If you need help tonight, I'm kind of behind on entering my customers into that. So after this, I will be staying up late. You have until midnight tonight to enter all of those. And if you have any questions about that, I can totally walk you through that for sure. So there is that. Now I want to go ahead and do some quick recognition and give a shout out to our brand new consultants. These are two most new consultants in our unit, and that is Latasha and Shoei. So congratulations for wanting to get your business started. I'm super excited to have the both of you in our unit and a part of our group. And I just know that by you guys investing in yourself and in your business, you are going to see awesome things come of this for sure. Okay. And so moving right along, we have our queens. So we're doing Queen of Faces for the week, Queen of Sales, Queen of Bookings, and then our Queen of Sharing and Recruits. And so we have a triple crown winner for this week who has the most faces in the week, the highest sales, and bookings, and that is Sarah Stanley. So Sarah, congratulations. Nicole Wassmer is runner-up for our Queen of Bookings. I know she's got 4 new bookings for the future. Sarah Stanley has just been like a rock star at making sure she is really working towards that bracelet and seeing the 30 faces in a month and just kicking her business off. She's ready for a team member. So I'm super excited for you, Sarah, as well as Nicole, for being diligent in that booking system and just keeping parties on your books, because really, honestly, that's where it's all at, right? Putting parties on your books. And so Sarah is even our Queen of Sharing. She has 3 shares coming up this next week. And our runner-up for our Queen of Shares is Shoei, because she is working on those pearls of sharing. So congratulations to the 2 of you. Okay, so I know that all of you guys are working for your Embrace the Dreams bracelet this month with that cumulative wholesale order of 600 or more. And I'm sure that somebody here is going to rock out that new Ellie Sparkle bracelet for getting a new team member, as well as a $1,000 wholesale. And then anyone who maxes out that double credit, because remember, we're still in the month of October working for that double credit towards Queen Court of Sales and Queen's Court of Sharing for the end of the seminar year, you get that Kate Spade purse. And of course, we have that drawing at the end of October when we reach our 100 shares for another Kate Spade purse. So I'm super excited. I cannot wait for October 31st to come around so that we can see who our winners are for that. Okay, so last week, I know I promised, speaking of recognition, that we would have that new updated system on our website. And I just was trying to play with it and figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out yet. So you can still text me your wins for the week by Sunday evening or no later than like Monday at noon to get that recognition. And so just bear with me, I promise. It will get updated sooner or later with that weekly accomplishment sheet. I'm just trying to figure out how to actually input it to where you don't have to click anything or go anywhere else but the website in order to do it. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you, and I'm not the most tech savvy, but we're working on it, I promise. Okay, so remember, you're going to give me, by the end of each week, the number of faces, the number of sales or your highest sales for the week, your number of bookings, your shares, and if you had any recruits for the week. Now, when I say shares, you know that that's you just flat out booking those shares, and we do those shares with me, whether that's in person or over the phone. It's totally up to you and your customer what's most convenient for them and how we can fit it in. But I want you to feel confident in just going ahead and actually scheduling those shares, and then I will do whatever I can to make it work. So even if I have a party, if I'm doing an in-home party, I'll figure it out and we'll have to maybe shift around maybe an hour or so. But if I'm doing a party at the studio, usually somebody else is there who can step in for 15 minutes or so, and then I can step out and take care of that share. So even if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, and that's the only availability that they have, we can do a phone share on a Saturday or Sunday, and I can step out of the sessions or do it in between or whatever. So feel confident, schedule them if you can before you leave that appointment, and don't feel like you have to wait to check in with me before you get that scheduled. It's always a lot easier to reschedule an appointment for a share than it is to follow up with them after and try and like chase them down and schedule it. So schedule it first if you can. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about working your business full circle and kind of what that looks like and how are we supposed to work our business full circle. And this is to allow us to kind of be more effective in our business, because we can be great in one area or another, but if we're neglecting another area that's also as important, then we could be missing out on a lot more benefits and advantages of our business and what we have. And so whenever I meet with a new consultant, I always try to let them know this is like a buffet. And if you're like me, I love to eat. And so when we go to a buffet, we stop at the like appetizer type table, and then we go to the fruits and the salad bar, and then we might go over to the meat and everything, and we kind of get a little bit of everything. And then when we're full, you better believe I still make an effort to go to that dessert table, even if I'm full. And so we want to make sure that we are looking at our business like that. There's a lot of different elements in our business and a lot of different tables that we can go to, and we don't want to skip over anything. We want to make sure that we're tasting a little bit of everything. And even when we're tired or wore out, or we are like not wanting to do that one extra thing, we still want to make sure that we're at least taking a little bit of it as it's that dessert table, because that's where we're going to see and maybe taste and get the most satisfied. When we're leaving out that one element, that could be the one element that we're missing in our business to really excel us and move us forward and get that success that we're looking for. So there are 12 key elements to making sure that you're working your business full circle. Most of them come from working your parties full circle. So I'm going to say it again. Most of them come from working your parties full circle. It's great to have on-the-go sales. It's great to have reorders. We love that residual income. But where you're going to see the most bang for your buck, where you're going to see the most money coming out and the most recruiting happening and things like that is going to be from holding an appointment. So you can sell on Facebook all you want, but I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to make the money that you're wanting just by posting on Facebook. So seeing the parties is where it's at. And therefore, if we make the most of our money at our parties, we need to make sure we are playing out our parties full circle and maximizing those. So I'm going to show you a picture of the 12 elements. Let me switch you over here. I always forget how to do this every time. Screen share and pull this up. Okay, so these are the 12 elements. And so what I want you to do, don't worry about writing all of these down, because I want you to be able to like have enough room to write notes on each element. But I'm going to read each element, just the topic. I'm not going to go into details or anything on that because we'll be here all night. I'm only going to touch on the first one, which is lead generating. But what I want you to do is number like your notebook, put like weakness and then put strength, and number like leave like 2 spaces for each, because what I want you to do is, as I'm reading these, I want you to pick the top 2 elements that you feel like you need the most support in, that maybe you're not as strong in, And then I want you to think of the the top two elements that you feel the strongest in, because you probably do feel strong in some of these areas, if not more than two. But there's, I'm sure, some areas that I'm going to mention that you might feel like you could use some extra support in. And so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed and feel like, well, I have all 12 that I feel like I need to learn something from. I want to focus on two. So the top two that you feel you need the most support on, and then the top two that you feel like you have the most success in. And so when we work our business full circle, we're doing each and every one of these elements. So the first one is lead generation. Then we have strong booking skills and habits. Confident, number 3 is confident coaching and pre-profiling. That's coaching your parties, not your recruits or anything like that. That's my job, but this is coaching your parties so that they're not going to forget or cancel or whatever. And then pre-profiling is pre-profiling your guests. Are you getting the hostess's guest list? Are you having some sort of way to have the guests respond to you so that you can kind of ask them some questions? Because it's never fun when you have a group of women come in to your home or you go to their home and then you find out that 2 of them already have Mary Kay consultants, or worse yet, one of them is a Mary Kay consultant, because we never steal customers from other consultants. And so right then and there, you could kind of feel defeated because you're probably not going to be able to sell anything if they all already have consultants. And so pre-profiling them, number 1, helps you kind of figure out who already has consultants so that you can be prepared for that mentally when you walk in, but also to kind of get to establish those relationships. People are going to buy from you and become your returning customers because they like you and they trust you and they have that relationship with you. So pre-profiling is where it's at for sure. Number 4, flip chart mastery. Do you have that flip chart mastered? Can you walk into a skincare class and feel confident from start to finish, doing your pitch, so to speak, walking through your customers through that entire class? And so, of course, the easiest way to do that is by having a flip chart so that you have that cheat sheet, so to speak. And do you have that mastered, or are you having to pick it up and hold it up in front of your face and read word for word on it still? Number 5, individual consultation mastery. So that's your closing when you're done. So when you bring them together and you go to close out after you've done the bag close at your tables, are you confident in that closing? Are you confident in asking for the sale? And number 6, the Perfect 12 program, weekly focus. So I'll talk about that and whatever that means when we get to that, because that one is a big one. And so number 7, career survey mastery. Do you know how to set up shares? Do you know how to overcome objections in that individual close? When you do your pearls of sharing and you do them quickly, back to back, and you've heard me on the other line constantly overcoming objections that people might have, you're going to feel more confident in being able to overcome those objections on your own and being able to share the opportunity and feel confident in that and not feel like you have to wait for me. I don't want you to do your shares completely on your own, but it's better to recruit on the spot because that saves you time than having to meet them in person, right? Especially if you work all day, Monday through Friday. So be confident in that. And number 8, product knowledge and personal use. So, do you know the products you're selling? Do you know the prices of the products you're selling? And are you personally sold on the products? You cannot sell these products unless you yourself are sold on them. Usually women start their Mary Kay business because they have fallen in love with the products first and then the opportunities. So I'm sure you're sitting here saying to yourself, yeah, I love the products. The products are amazing and they're awesome. But do you have a bunch of contraband that you're using that's underneath your sink in your bathroom still? When I first started as a consultant, I literally went through my cabinets, my purse, everywhere, and I boxed up my products. I do not use anything on my body. If Mary Kay makes it, I use Mary Kay. If it's not Mary Kay and Mary Kay doesn't sell it, then I use it. But if Mary Kay has just as good of a product, I'm going to use it because I love our products. I think that they're amazing. And if I'm using it and I love it and I've seen the results on my skin, then I'm going to be able to relay that to my customers. Number 9, systems for follow-ups and customer service. This one I'm probably weakest in because I see so many faces each month, it's hard to keep track. But making sure you have those follow-up systems and good customer service, that's when people are coming back to you and not going out and looking for another consultant because chances are they love the product, but we want them to love you too. Number 10, event and meeting attendance. Those that show up, go up, right? Do you go to everything? Do you go to the events? Like, Stars and Cars. I know I have not pushed that, but I just learned how cool and awesome it is. And so you better believe I will be at the next Stars and Cars, and I will be making sure I have consultants coming with me. Meetings. Meetings for me as a consultant were non-negotiables. My husband works retail. He works at Publix. And so he sometimes has to close, he sometimes has to open, and he sometimes has off random days in the week. And when I was working full-time as a teacher, my schedule was pretty set in stone. And there was one point where he was working and he was always off on Wednesdays. But as a teacher, I worked 30 minutes south of where I lived, and then after that I drove another 30 minutes to our meeting spot because I live about 45 minutes north of where our studio is located. And didn't make sense for me to drive home after work to drive all the way back down to St. Pete for the meeting night. So I literally would leave the house at 6:30 in the morning, and I would not come home until about 9:15 at night on Wednesdays. And so even though that was a day that my husband was off, even if it was my birthday, I was still going to the meeting. I was not going to miss it. So those things are super important, especially if you want to move up in the business. And so number 11, effective goal setting and execution. So the activity has to match what your goals are. And this one I always tell new consultants, this one is super important because if we have false expectations or if our goals are not met by the actions that we're willing to produce, we could get disappointed and discouraged really, really easily. And so that is kind of more of like, you need to know if you want to drive a pink Cadillac, seeing 20 faces in a month is not going to get you to drive a pink Cadillac. You need to make sure that you're seeing the faces, doing the production or the productivity in order to have that match your goals. If you want to get into DIQ November 1st, then you need to know what you need to do in order to get there. So that's super important. And then number 12, consistent communication with your director or your national sales director. For me, that's going to my national sales director. For you, that's going to your director. And so the only way that I'm able to help you be successful and give you the tools and the training and the support that you might need in your business to continue that growth and be a successful business owner and consultant is if I am in communication with you. If I don't know what you're doing, if I don't know when you're struggling, if I don't know that you try to do bookings today and got 0 bookings and you're really upset about that, I don't know how to help you overcome that. And then that's when you get discouraged and you maybe quit or whatever. And so being in that communication with your director or your national sales director is key to success. And so let's get back Maybe. Okay, hi. So whenever you do that and you've worked your business full circle, you are going to be successful. And so the one element that I wanted to touch on today is lead generating. Because you can't book parties, you can't work your business full circle, you can't have customers unless you have the leads to do that. And so lead generating is the number one element on the list, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So that's simply having the names, right? Having the names to book those parties. And so as a new consultant, those names would be that 50 or more contact list, your circle of influence, literally every single person in your phone, on your Facebook friend list, at your job, at your child's school or daycare. Anybody that you come in contact with that has skin is your contact list that we work from first. Now, then you network those people. You work with those people to either set up shares and try the product out and give you your opinion and practice that skincare class. And at those parties, whenever you're working with them or appointments, you're collecting referrals from them. And so this is what's going to give you your first 30 faces in 30 days. If you're collecting referrals at every appointment that you're seeing in those 30 faces, then on average, we have about 10 names per person. So some give more, some give less, but it's about 10 names per person. That's 300 names that you're going to be given in those 30 faces for you to contact and book more parties with. So our average with booking is 10 attempts, so 10 names that we call or text to get one booking. In those 300 names, that's 30 more parties that you could have on your books just from your circle of influence, your contact list as a new consultant. Now, if you're a seasoned consultant and you never worked through your list of contacts, that's totally fine. There is no reason why you can't start going through your Facebook now. When I was in DIQ, I'll be honest, I did not touch my Facebook list. I had my few friends that I felt like was good enough to contact, and so those are the ones that I contacted as a new consultant, and then I moved on. So in DIQ, I needed to finish, and I needed to find a lot more names needed. So I went through and I literally wrote, whether they lived close to me or not, in a notebook, every single woman's name in my Facebook feed, and I literally went down the list and was contacting them. And I ended up booking multiple faces from my, I guess they're not really even my friends, they're more of acquaintances, but they were willing to help me out and do a facial with me. Now, I'm sure if I would have asked to share the opportunity and not do the facial, they would have been willing to do that too. So don't be afraid to contact your people that you already know. And so in order to sustain your business, to have a sustainable business where you're getting in the new names, that you're having enough names on hand to contact for bookings, you want a minimum of 30 new names a week. That's a minimum of 30 new names a week. So if you're holding one party and it's a smaller party, maybe it's a party of 3, that's 10 names per person, so you can get them with referrals. Maybe you're doing facial bags, and so you use facial bags to get your names. Maybe you are doing honoring working women, where you're going out into the workforce and you're honoring them and getting their names. Maybe you have a booth event or a store event that you're getting people to enter their name in. Maybe you're warm chatting people, like talking to your server, talking to your hairdresser, talking to your barista at Starbucks. I have done that, and I sold $300 to my barista at Starbucks because I asked her to do a facial with me. So making sure you're consistently having 30 new names is gonna, on average, each week allow you to have 3 parties on your books every week. That's 12 parties in a month. 12 parties in a month at, let's lowball it, at 3 faces. That would be, I'm totally awful with my math, so That's 36 faces. If it's 12 parties on a high end, our average is 5. That's 60 faces. That's DIQ bound. 50 to 60 faces in a month is what I did to put myself into DIQ. So 30 leads in a week. Now, sometimes we have to get more if our numbers aren't working the way we want them to. But if you're consistent and you're dedicated to getting 30 leads a week, that's where it's at. That's where you're going to see that consistency building. So if you feel like lead generating is something that you need more support on or you're lacking in, I want you to text me that you want more information about lead generating. If you feel strongly in lead generating, that you've got that down and you are already consistently getting 30 new leads a week, I want you to text me what the other 2 elements on that list are that you feel like you are the weakest in. And then I would love to hear what you feel like your strengths are. So if you could text me what your top 2 weaknesses are and your top 2 strengths are in the 12 elements, I will know that you're on and you will get entered into a drawing to get a prize. And if you feel like lead generating is something that you are struggling with or that you feel like you want more info on, include that in your top 2 weakest. Don't tell me that you also want lead generating. I feel like I'm making it too complicated. So I'll know if that's one of your top 2, if lead generating is where you need help with. And then we will continue to go from there. And so next week, I'm going to talk about the next 2 on the list. And then we'll just continue to go around and complete that full circle training for working our business. Have a great night and an awesome week, ladies.